Good morning and welcome back to the Red Mic. Sorry for the late start today. Sorry for the late start. I'm feeling under the weather. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I've picked up mostly from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: showing integrity when you hit the door. Don't burn bridges. It's just a bad idea. And I've done it. Um, More about that in a minute. I've seen it a bunch in my career. People leave a job, and instead of just, not looking back, moving forward, they will turn around and they will burn every bridge behind them. They get angry. They'll write nasty, resignation letters. They'll go online and post comments now. They'll talk bad about their former employer publicly or privately, and then they act like they're the only ones that really had it figured out. But the truth of the matter is, I've learned that the way you leave a job says just as much about your character as the way you work while you're there. Um, in government, just like any organization, there's hard working people who make things run, and there's people who seem to work against the mission. And this is clearly also true in the private sector. Some people think that just because they're in a corporate job, they're untouchable, but companies don't hesitate to fire anybody, as you would probably figure out from the recent headlines, especially if they're working against the mission. So if you don't agree with the mission, find something else and go. Don't don't push against it while you're there, because you're going to get shown the door very quickly if you do. Now, if something illegal or unethical is happening, report it. Go through the right channels. But if you're just upset because the company isn't doing things the way you want, or, you know, whatever, just don't go there. It's not your company, it's not your vision to execute. You are a hired hand. I hate to be blunt, but you are. And when you leave, don't let that anger or the bitterness, or if you're treated badly, whatever it is, don't let it define you. Walk out the door with everybody knowing or thinking that you are just as professional as the day you walked in. Um, my own personal burning bridge story. I worked at I'll just say a retailer. I won't say who. And I worked in the electronics and computer area. And I had cleared it with the big manager that in my off hours, because I could come in and work on the computers there, uh, I could come in and briefly work on stuff that I needed to do for college. Fast forward a while, and one of the sub managers saw me working on something, assumed I was on the clock, and attempted to write me up, and it just really irritated me. Um, well, then later, that very same assistant manager came to me and said, "Hey, I've got this recording. I need you to hook up a couple of VCRs and make a copy of it." I said, "Okay." And I did it, filed it away. And when I ended up leaving, in my resignation letter, I threw the guy under the bus. I know it was petty, but he had hassled me incorrectly for something that I didn't even do. And then he had the nerve to ask me on company time to do him a favor for his wife's 10th anniversary or reunion or something. I don't even remember what it was. I didn't watch it. I just made the copy. And I didn't regret that for a long time, but now I do. I have no idea what happened to the guy. For all I know, they may have gotten rid of him. But I also posted a copy of my resignation letter in the break room so everybody got to see it. So Yeah, it was petty. I shouldn't have done it, and I do regret it now. So that was an instance where I let the bitterness define me, and I shouldn't have. Um, so when your name comes up after you leave, try to be remembered as a team player with integrity, not as the guy who badmouthed the boss as you were walking out the door. Eventually, that'll catch up to you. Now, that bridge, I wasn't worried about it because I didn't stay in retail. Got out of retail as quickly as I could. Actually, left that job and got a full time job working in radio as a DJ. And loved that job. The pay was awful, but I loved doing it. So, eventually, if you burn bridges, headhunters, hiring officials, they'll figure it out. And eventually, you're going to need to put references from old jobs, and that includes putting bosses. So, again, and there's a song lyric that I can't remember by Garth Brooks. It's something about and bridges do get burned. I've looked it up all the ways I can think of. Can't think of it. The only two songs that came to mind, Brooks and Dunn will burn that bridge when we get there, which doesn't really apply. So that's why I mentioned that uh, Winona Judd and Clint Black song "A Bad Goodbye." So don't make it a bad goodbye when you walk out the door. Carry yourself with honor, even if you're frustrated. Leave the place hopefully better than you found it, even if it wasn't perfect. That's the kind of reputation you want to follow you, not that you got some zingers in on the way out the door. That's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting or helpful. I hope that you can put these processes and these ideas into place in your own life. Please give me a like, a follow, and a share. I'd appreciate your comments. Thanks for listening. I hope to see you again tomorrow. I hope I'm feeling better tomorrow. And until next time, don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.